It may surprise you to learn that was a bug. This game had a lot of them on release, but it's been 6 months now, and a lot of them have also been fixed. So while you can't still reach infinite distances with a repair kit or ult into the sky to your heart's content, there's still a lot of bugs if you know where to look. It's truly a race between the poor Hytale devs trying to fix the bugs and the players trying to find them. This game is really fun to pick apart though, and there's some bugs I've discovered that I haven't seen anyone else talk about, so I figured I'd make a list documenting them, with some of the bugs from the community too. I'll keep the bugs numbered on the bottom left, with a pinned comment stating what's been patched. So, without any further delay, I bring you a non-specific amount of modern Hytale bugs. To start off somewhat strong, you can use throwables without actually using throwables. By swapping off right as it's used, it's thrown out without being deducted from your inventory. This works on every throwable, including poison potion bombs, which you'd otherwise have to slave away for. Only exception are totems, because they have a cooldown and are otherwise infinite anyways. While talking throwables, you can also throw them through walls, since the projectile is spawned forward from your character, not to be confused with shots that start from inside your character. Next up is more throwables, but this one is really cool. You can cut through walls with totems by throwing it inside your character, then walking the opposite direction you want to go. On its own, it can only be used to cut through corners without edges, but with a Mosshorn milk bucket, you can go through walls with ease, all without breaking or placing a single block. Every wall can and will be answered by totems. By looking straight up at a wall, then timing a full jump at the same time you start your throw, you end up standing on top of the totem. Rinse and repeat for infinite scaling, at very finite speeds. Now I'd like to show you the coolest Hytale trap money can offer, but to do so, I need to show you a series of bugs to fully understand the nuances of it, so get ready. First up's the phase up. When jumping up to a ceiling while crouched, if you uncrouch at the peak of your jump, your hitbox gets pushed into the ceiling, causing you to phase through it. I wonder how it got its name. You can do this to ceilings up to 2 blocks thick, and can even do it with signature moves or charged attacks. Also, does anyone call them a signature move? Like, we all call them alts, right? Anyway, you also can't do this in water for some reason, which will be important later, so remember that. Next up's bed clipping. Basically a worse version of totem clipping, since you have to make a much more specific environment, but when exiting a bed covered with blocks the right way, you can get clipped through the wall to get a safe space to stand. I have to explain this for the trap, so bear with me. And now for the heart and soul of the trap, the unassuming slab.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for.
Once you place the first slab, the second one will place no matter what. This is already pretty neat, because you can make a hydraulic press and crush your enemies. The best part being they can't even break the block, suffocating them once crushed. But it goes further. You can place slabs in the Forgotten Temple. You know, the one place you aren't supposed to place blocks. I sure hope there's no rooms where you could take advantage of this incredibly niche bug. That's right. You lure them into this room, close it behind them, and they're stuck forever. Can't even die to get out because the temple won't let you. There are some caveats to getting this foolproof though, involving all the prior bugs. They can escape with phase up tech and bed clipping if they're smart. You can claim the bed so they can't sleep in it, and that's the easy part. As for the phase up prevention, there's one more bug perfect for the occasion, and it gets better because the temple has an ideal setup to pull it off. Introducing Forgotten Temple Water. With a bucket, you can place it wherever you like. Remember how water prevents phase up? You'll need to line the entire ceiling of the room with water to completely foolproof the trap. Works doubly perfect as a party trick to lure them into the room, thus granting you the greatest Hytale trap ever. Something to note before leaving the Forgotten Temple. You can move the entities inside it with poison potion bombs. which would be laughably expensive, but thankfully you have infinite throwables now, so enjoy the party trick to its fullest. Alright, one last trick here. You can place entities like totems, iron carts, and even capture crate entities, which will then become invincible. Cooler version of capture crates though is kidnapping them from their home. The natural conclusion I'd expect anyone else to come to, since bringing them out will give you unkillable critters in the real world. Moving on to some party tricks. If you snap your camera about 90 degrees at the end of a slide, you'll be able to slide infinitely, at a snail's pace. This one is actively fixed on the Update 6 and replaced with this bug, so enjoy it while it lasts.
I can't let you get close.
Crouching as you enter the water, then leaving will create another party trick where you get the falling animation while on the ground. One of my personal favorite findings here. Once your signature is charged, swapping and immediately using signature will cause you to use it twice. Well, kind of. The first alt is real, but the second one's client-sided, and will only grant you the movement of the signature. Pretty useful though for tricking your opponent into thinking you have one signature, when in reality you could have any of them. Also nice for reaching otherwise unreachable places. Law of equivalent exchange, I am now legally obligated to give you the lamest bug on this list. Empty buckets have collisions, while filled buckets don't. Good luck finding an application for this. Windowed mode has an interesting interaction. Grabbing the bar freezes your game, causing you to float indefinitely until you let go. Much more versatile than meets the eye. While the game is frozen by any means, including the prior bug, your knockback is stored. This means, by using any additive knockback, like an arrow, you get ridiculous knockback when you unfreeze. Speaking of fall damage, you can save yourself with a charge backs attack, since it sets your velocity rather than adding to it. This same principle applies to shield bashing a friend. They can even use the freeze glitch mentioned earlier, and wait patiently for you to save them, which I'm sure you'll do. Anyways, you can cause chargebacks to instantly swing after the charge by using a short roof, climbing a ladder, being in water, or standing on water. Doesn't matter how shallow. This moves the back's charge attack from F tier all the way up to F tier. Now if you really want to move chargebacks from F tier to F tier, you can keep yourself in the animation of the swing by swapping off before you land. Same thing applies to the signature backs animation, which looks way funnier. Well, I had to get to it sooner or later. There's a lot of bugs regarding the bow and crossbow. One of which is my greatest bug find, but we'll get there when we get there. You should know if you don't already, you can get signature energy by hitting arrows. Pretty handy when you know you're about to enter a serious combat. You can make signature farming from arrows easier if you make them stay. This can be done by having the arrows suspended in the air long enough, like shooting them straight up for instance.
And it hit me on the head.
You can also do this by getting as close to a wall as possible, which still isn't the best method because it costs an arrow. The best way is from a strange interaction where blocking or swapping off bow quickly enough after shooting makes the arrow disappear, never hitting a target. Now this may sound useless, but the arrow isn't actually gone, just invisible on your client. This also makes the arrow stay, so if you fire a bow shot at the ground and cancel it right after, you'll have an invisible arrow you can signature farm. If anyone is curious, if this bow shot hits someone on their client, the shot won't hit them. Instead, it'll stop right in front of them before hitting and be suspended in air, which is how you see floating arrows sometimes. Another bonus is if you leave the area and come back, you'll be able to see the bow shot that you couldn't before. This works with the crossbow too. But wait, there's more! Arrows are buoyant, meaning shooting them into the water can suspend them for a very long time. Use this to set up another trap. Interesting interaction with this is that when someone gets hit by these arrows, they need to block where the bow shooter currently is, not the direction of the arrow. So try to be the opposite way where one would instinctively block when setting up the trap. You can use the previous bug to have two ults at once with the bow or crossbow. These are the only two weapons where you can have a primed signature and a full signature charge at the same time, since activating signature instantly deletes the charge, and you can still deal damage after by suspending the arrows. Very good prep work for entering a combat, though this will pale in comparison to the next bug. Here it is, my magnum opus. Actually trivializes survival PvP. I'm hiding it in the center of the list because I'm a little scared of it, but the Hypixel team has been made aware of the bug, so by the time it gets fully realized, it'll probably get patched. Anyway, I think I'll let it speak for itself. So, the crossbow has an interesting gimmick. When firing an arrow, it plays a 0.2 second animation, removing the arrow from the player afterward. But unlike the animation, the arrow comes out instantly. Therefore, blocking to cancel the animation lets you keep whatever arrow you had, whilst firing it anyway, granting you infinite DPS. As if it wasn't enough, crossbow also has 0 stamina regeneration delay, much like the mace, only waiting for the animation to end. Enjoy it before it's patched. But wait, there's more! You can use a bow or staff to launch up your friends after they dagger dash to insane heights, as if you needed more ways to scale walls. Finally, moving on from bows, you can block with anything. By dropping an item, blocking and picking it back up in the empty hotbar slot you're already on, you'll be blocking with a shield, even if it's with something you can't.
Did you see it? On the left side of the doorframe, barely visible on camera, a white translucent mist-like shape slowly creeps into frame. What do you think?
You can get instant stamina regeneration from blocks by swapping off to another slot while holding it. Cool alternative to mace stam, and at very high level play can even be used in the PvP meta to get a couple extra drops of stamina. This doesn't normally work for the shield, but there's another bug for that. By holding down block with shield and pressing utility quick swap, your stamina will start to regenerate instantly. The meta hasn't quite reached commonly putting this into play yet, though, if we're being honest, the combat will probably look very different before this point ever gets reached. Little footnote before moving on though, utility quick swap has a lot of client-sided bugs. Won't cover them here, but they're there if you look. If you stand on the edge of a block that would give you an effect, like mushroom shelf or mud block, you won't get it. You can hide interactions like opening chests through mud blocks or snow, since their hitbox is shorter than they visually appear. For the speedrunners of the world, floating grass at a cave entrance means it's a Clops cave about 95% of the time. Always worth the dive for some potential loot.
Hey!
Bug 37.
Can fly! He can fly, he can fly, he can fly!
Wait, what's your
Bug.
He can fly!
Oh, guess
Bug 37.
can fly.
You can fly in survival Hytale. Falling stops applying downward velocity after a certain amount. Therefore, with enough fall time, you can generate enough net upward velocity to counteract it and float, or even fly upward. Best way is to use daggers to generate upward velocity and sword to go down when need be. You've probably accidentally done this one if you've ever used daggers in combat, but by dagger dashing someone when close enough, you can backstab them from the front. The faster you or they are already moving, the further back you can do this from. Also works on any other entity with health, but positioning will vary based on their hitbox. By switching off or blocking right when you hit with the daggers, you can get the bounce without doing damage. You can now risk your friend's life for some minor repositioning. Speaking of daggers, they can hit through walls, and they're the only weapon that can do it. Makes for some pretty cheeky plays if there's a pillar or thin barrier between you and the enemy. Even sees use in speedruns. Caused by jumping the moment you start your roll. Ends when landing. If you land on a ladder, you can keep it indefinitely. You can also pair this with the flight bug. Sadly, it is only on your client. Ladders are also very strange when you have momentum. I'm not entirely sure how this one works, but dagger dashing up ladders can give you crazy speed like this. Definitely one of the fastest ways to go up. Fun fact about the free cam, your placement camera doesn't follow you. Pretty good for trapping, and in minigames like Skywars where you can trick people to attack you, then wall them into the void. Shoutouts to August for that idea, who found this bug way before I did. By interacting right before you do a signature move, you can edge case a scenario where you interact and signature move at the same time. This mostly just amounts to funny stuff with signatures and seats and mounts. Shoutouts to the Mace on a horse strat. But I'll be waiting to see if it lasts long enough to do a signature right as you pick up a carryable. If you're curious how I died getting off that horse at the start, you finally made it. And you're also probably the only person that was curious. Seats and mounts store momentum, so if you save yourself from falling with a horse, you need a body of water to get off it, unless you have a death wish. A new bug of Update 5 and Update 5 only. If you mantle a wall, it'll store your momentum and resume it after it's finished. This game has a lot of problems with momentum if you couldn't tell. This game has a lot of liquid bugs too. For instance, you can see through lava by using water. Actually helpful if you want to find extra adamantite or red crystals in the lava rivers for tools and potions. You can grow crops in lava. They don't care at all. Truly the perfect light source for your crops, and a psychotic defense against gluttonous players. Another fun liquid bug, you can have anything that isn't a full block replaced by having water and lava turn it into cobblestone. Seems small until you realize it can break unbreakable blocks, like forgotten temple gateways. You may not be able to transport lava yet, but say you find a volcano with lava on top, you've got a pretty good range to work with.
Take a seat, young Skywalker.
By running out of pillar blocks while drag placing, looking away from the plane you're locked into, letting go of place, and switching to any rotatable object, you can then place that object sideways or upside down on that given plane. Finally, the last bug. Perfect for solving the mess you made with the previous 50, turning off your PC. But with purpose. This game doesn't handle chunks well at all if you do this, and lots of weird stuff start happening. From merging chunks to duplicating chunks, void chunks, and new chunks don't even show up anymore. Even the entities stop behaving right. It can also stop you from loading into the world forever, so I hope you have a backup. Truly the ultimate gambler's bug. Hey, you made it. Congratulations. There's a lot more bugs that I didn't have time to put in due to the update's patching bugs, so I can't ship a Theseus this video forever whenever I find one. Though frankly, I am amazed the bucket bug made it in.
This is a bucket.
Dear God.
There's more.
No.
The point of this video isn't to encourage bug abuse or rag on the Hypixel team's bug fixing rate. Frankly, they're patching these bugs so fast it was hard to even get a video out in time. There's just so many strange and interesting interactions in the game already, and unthinkable new ones to come with each new chapter. Think outside the box, see what you can come up with. If I was able to collect this many, albeit not on my own, while mostly only searching for PvP related bugs, I'm sure anyone watching could come up with something incredibly interesting to show the community, help the devs polish the game, or even just find something to troll your friends and have a good laugh about. The joys of early access. And hey, you never know what bug could become the next feature. Regardless, I love seeing what people can come up with, and I look forward to the strange and creative finds the players come up with on the road ahead. I'll see you out there.